Rain poured endlessly that night, the kind that made even the brightest streets look lonely. But inside a small, dimly lit diner at the corner of Maple Avenue, a young waitress named Clara Evans was still on her feet, tired, drenched from earlier deliveries, and trying to stretch her shift for just one more hour. Her shoes squeaked as she moved between tables, her uniform slightly torn, her hands trembling from exhaustion. Yet she wore that same warm smile she always did, the kind that made struggling people feel seen. Clara wasn't just working for herself. Every tip, every extra shift, every late night was for her little brother Sam, a 12-year-old fighting asthma back home. Their parents had passed away in a car crash 3 years ago, and Clara had been both sister and mother ever since. She barely slept, barely ate, but she refused to give up. That night, as the clock neared midnight, the diner went quiet. A few truckers left, leaving behind half-empty cups of coffee and crumpled bills. Clara was wiping down the counter when she noticed someone outside, a frail, elderly woman standing by the roadside, her hair soaked, her thin shawl clinging to her trembling shoulders. She looked lost and terrified. Without thinking, Clara grabbed her umbrella and rushed outside. "Ma'am, are you okay?" she called out over the storm. The woman turned slowly, her eyes were full of tears mixed with rain. I can't find my way home," she whispered. "My son was supposed to pick me up after my hospital checkup, but my phone died and I don't remember the address." Clara's heart ached. She could see the woman shivering, her shoes completely soaked. Without hesitation, Clara wrapped her own jacket around her. "Come inside, please, you'll catch a cold out here." The old woman hesitated, glancing at the diner sign. "But I have no money, dear," smiled softly. "You don't need money to be treated like a human being." Inside, she guided the woman to the booth near the heater and brought her a bowl of soup, the last one in the pot. The woman tried to refuse, but Clara insisted. "Please, Grandma, you need this more than I do," filled the woman's eyes again as she took the first sip. "You remind me of someone," she whispered. "My son, he's so busy these days, always working, but he has a kind heart, just like you." Clara sat across from her, smiling gently. "I'm sure he loves you very much. Maybe he's just lost in life's storm right now, but he'll come." The woman's eyes softened. "You talk like someone who's been through storms." Herself, Clara laughed quietly. "You could say that, but storms don't last forever. They just make us appreciate the sunlight when it returns." The two talked for an hour. The woman shared stories of her youth, her garden, her son's stubbornness, her late husband. Clara listened like she had all the time in the world, and in that moment, despite her aching feet and empty stomach, she felt something rare: peace. When the rain finally slowed, the woman looked drowsy. Clara offered to call a cab, but the woman didn't even remember her street name. So Clara decided to walk her to the nearest police station under her umbrella. As they walked, a black car suddenly pulled up beside them. The back door flew open and a man rushed out, his voice trembling with panic. "Mom," he shouted. Clara stopped. The man, tall in a soaked designer suit, sprinted toward them, dropping to his knees beside the woman. His eyes were full of fear and guilt. "Mom, I'm so sorry, the meeting ran late, your phone was off, and then it started raining. I was terrified." The elderly woman smiled weakly and touched his cheek. "It's all right, son, this kind girl took care of me." Man turned to Clara, speechless. His sharp, composed expression softened instantly. "You helped my mother." In this weather, Clara shrugged shyly. Anyone would have done it. But he shook his head. "No, no one does things like this anymore," extended his hand. "I'm Ethan Crawford." The name struck her. She'd heard it 1,000 times, the billionaire CEO of Crawford Industries, the largest tech firm in the city. A man whose photos were always on magazine covers, usually standing beside luxury cars or in glass-walled boardrooms. Clara blinked in disbelief. I did know," he smiled faintly. "You didn't need to. You did something most people wouldn't do, even knowing." He pulled off his coat and draped it over her shoulders before guiding his mother into the car. Just before leaving, the elderly woman rolled down her window and said softly, "My dear, what's your name?" "Clara," she replied, smiling. "Clara," the woman repeated. "You're a blessing, don't ever lose that heart." Then they drove away. Clara stood in the rain, shivering but strangely warm inside. A few days passed. The moment faded into memory as she continued her double shifts. Rent was overdue again and Sam's inhaler had run out. She was behind on bills, but she refused to give up hope. Then one afternoon, the diner manager called her over. "Clara, there's someone here asking for you." She turned and froze. It was Ethan Crawford, standing right at the counter in a perfectly pressed suit with a soft smile that somehow didn't look corporate at all. "Mr. Crawford," she gasped. He nodded. "Clara, I owe you an apology. I didn't thank you properly that night." She shook her head quickly. "You don't owe me anything, sir. I was just helping." But he wasn't listening. He placed an envelope on the counter. "Inside is a letter of recommendation and a job offer. You said you studied business management before life got hard, right?" Her breath caught. "How did you?" "My mother couldn't stop talking about you," he said with a grin. "We need people like you in our company, not just smart ones but kind ones." Tears welled in her eyes as she opened the envelope. It wasn't just a job offer. It was an executive assistant position at his firm with a salary that could change her life overnight. I don't know what to say, she whispered. Ethan smiled. Say yes, looked up, her voice trembling. I don't know why you're doing this, met her gaze with quiet sincerity. Because the night you comforted my mother, you didn't just help her, you reminded me of what I'd lost: humanity, gratitude, compassion. You gave me more than you know. That night Clara returned home and hugged her brother tightly. For the first time in years they had hope, real, tangible hope. Months later, Clara was standing in a glass office high above the city, looking out at the rain that once symbolized her struggle. Now it was just water, cleansing, renewing. Ethan walked in, smiling. His mother had recovered well, and every week she visited Clara like family. Storm's back, he said, joining her at the window. Clara smiled softly. Yeah, but this time I'm not afraid.